Okay, so I think I am live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the first live stream after the 2025 Formula One World Championship. The headlines, not the headlines, but like the summary from the season is that McLaren clinched both of the World Championships. They won the Constructors in Singapore, and Lando Norris won the Drivers' Championship in Abu Dhabi. So that's the story of the season, and right now we're in the off season. There are some news noteworthy. I don't know if they're too noteworthy. I mean, for instance, Max Verstappen pulled a fake sick leave or used a fake sick leave during the FIA award ceremony for the 2025 Formula One season. He was sim racing, from what I heard, and it's truly believable. And one of the main reasons why I'm doing this live stream right now, I'm actually setting up the chat window so that I can talk to people or reply to the chats if anyone bothers to click on the live stream. Anyway, so the purpose of the live stream is to discuss a few things around Formula One, such as Lando Norris will be racing with car number one. The second thing we will talk about is this is completely unprofessional on my behalf, checking my phone in the middle of a stream, but there are some important messages from the tax man. Nothing in life is permanent except for death and taxes, as you guys probably know. So, I'm being bothered by the tax man. The second thing we will talk about is how Formula One fans are and should be coping with in the off season, because you may already know most of us have not much going on in our lives, and as a result of that, it can get frustrated and lonely and depressing and all those things in the off season. So we will talk a little bit about that. I got the verification code. This is professional work, by the way. This is professional work because I'm setting up the chat window. So we will talk about that. So that's the second thing. The first thing is Lando Norris. The first news is Lando Norris is going to race with car number one from 2026, for 2026 at least, that we know. And we will also talk about how Formula One fans will deal with the off season. So those are the two key things. The third important thing, the agenda of the chat. I wonder if I should put it as a notepad in front of the screen. Should I do that? I don't think so. But anyway, the third agenda is Red Bull has now cleaned house. All of the key personnel, Adrian Newey, Rob Marshall, Yuki Tsunoda, Helmut Marko, Christian Horner, they have now left the team. Red Bull Racing, as we once knew, is no longer the same team. It has now completely changed. They're changing everything. There are a few things in Red Bull that changed predictably, which is the second driver. But now a lot of other things have changed. So we'll talk about all these three things. The second one being the most critical and complicated one, so we will spend the most amount of time here. So anyway, first, Lando Norris car number shenanigans. So Lando is going to race with number one, and Max Verstappen will probably return to car number 33, or it could be 69. If he is feeling childish enough, then we can have a car number 69 from the energy drink company driven by Max Verstappen. We can certainly have that. Or maybe he can race with the pseudonym Franz Hermann in Formula One. I wonder if that's possible. Like in gaming, you can have like a real name and a gamer's tag. So if you can have something like that in Formula One, then obviously we can have Franz Hermann, car number 69 for Verstappen. Lando Norris will become car number 1. He has now incorporated that 1 into his autograph. He's already, selling a bunch of merch. That the managerial team of Lando Norris must be rejoicing because the revenue is going to be through the roof. Lando's fans are a bunch of young people, impressionable kids, which means they are more likely to buy all of that merch. Overpriced t-shirts, hats, caps, sporting equipment, if any. I have not visited the Lando shop online, but I wonder. I presume it's not just going to be t-shirts and caps. They're probably going to be sweatshirts, hoodies, shorts for working out and stuff like that. So they're going to have a field day. And all of it is LN1 merch. So great news for Lando Norris for winning the World Championship. And now a whole avenue of fun, and by fun I mean cash, has now opened up for the young Brit. Big congratulations to him. Tell you what, I used to be one of those people who was like, Lando with his mentality is not gonna win. And you know what happened? He actually did make some changes, improved his mentality, and then he won. As the season progressed, as the 2025 Formula One season progressed, he got a lot of advice from seasoned, experienced drivers like Lewis Hamilton and all the other guys. And they told him to block all of the negative news from the outside, positive and negative. Fuck. I just, bless me. Anyway. And that helped Lando. That completely helped Lando Norris. Turn things around on its head. And he finished the season in such a dominant fashion. And the thing is, a lot of people say that the British driver won his maiden world title by 2 points, which is not that impressive considering he was on a dominant car. And it is partially true, because Lando certainly could have maximized the gap and maximized the performance weekend after weekend. But at the same time, it is also partially false. Lando winning by 2 points from Max Verstappen is not the true reflection of how Lando performed throughout the 2025 Formula One season. Now, I'm going to explain to you how. The first thing is the DNF in Zandvoort. That's 18 points right there. That's 18 points straight up. You cannot deny that. That was not Lando's mistake at all. Mechanical failure, 18 points. From P2, the disqualification in Las Vegas, that's another 18 points. So 36 points down the drain, not Lando's fault. He couldn't have done anything. Then we go to Qatar, where, he was just a victim of McLaren's reactive approach to pit strategy. When Red Bull decided to pull Max Verstappen in when the safety car hit on lap 7 in the Qatar Grand Prix, McLaren did not react at all. By the time McLaren realized that they have been had by the energy drink company, it was too late. So that was kind of depressing on Lando's behalf. So that's probably that's at least a podium for Lando, I think. So I don't know how many points. We can just consider that as like 2 points as the minimum, because he finished P4, which I think is 12 points. So he could have had at least 3 extra points. So 39 points. That's the amount of points that Lando has lost to Max in situations that he had zero control over. Now, other than that, if you look at Lando's performance throughout the season, he made two big mistakes throughout the season. The first one is obviously in in Canada, where he rammed into the back of his teammate Piastri, took himself out, had a DNF, blah blah blah, etc. etc. And the other mistake I would say is like a trickle, not trickle, but like bits and pieces of points when Oscar Piastri was not performing at his fullest. Azerbaijan, that race I think Lando could have maximized. He fucked up. There were a few opportunities like that. But other than that, Lando's season was pretty solid. He won the World Championship, in my opinion, at least fair and square. If McLaren didn't make the mistakes like they did, if Lando didn't have the DNF in Zandvoort and DSQ in Vegas and the strategy disaster in Qatar, then he would be 41 points ahead of Max Verstappen at the end of the 2025 Formula One season. That was a complete possibility. Obviously, there were a few mistakes here and there, and it is also possible that he didn't maximize the performance of the car in certain occasions. Japan comes to mind. I think in Japan, Lando could have won, but it was just Verstappen magic. That was too much. So yeah, there were moments, but Lando did have a pretty awesome season. He changed his approach where he stopped listening to other people. He was too much getting caught up in what the trolls on social media had to say. I remember, still today in 2024, last year, where he won his first ever Grand Prix in Miami. On the radio, he said that Lando no wins, huh? So he was basically making a taunt to all the trolls on the internet, because people used to call him Lando no wins. And that stuck with him, which is a bad thing. Trolls are gonna be trolls. They're gonna always talk shit. They're gonna, do all these things. But absorbing that, being there, being active on social media, interacting with them, accepting the shit talk from the trolls, etc., that's not positive. And that is a mistake that he stopped repeating midway through 2025, and then his dominance was at the forefront. From Mexico. If you look at how Norris has driven from Mexico all the way to Abu Dhabi, it was kind of flawless. I mean, yeah, he could have maximized somewhere, something, but at the same time, it was pretty good. So yeah, so that was the first topic of discussion for this live stream. The second topic of discussion is how Formula One fans manage their time and keep themselves entertained during the off season. Now, it's very difficult to do. What I do is lay on the bed and do nothing, which I don't think is a good thing for the majority of the people, but everything else just seems wasteful. I'm not going to go to social media and absorb that poison into my brain. I'm subconsciously training my prefrontal cortex to chase dopamine. And this is what happens. You see, when we do dumb, shallow things, we teach ourselves to keep chasing cheap dopamine. Whether it is the memes on Instagram or something on YouTube, something, if like junk food from outside, something like that. So I don't indulge in those type of things, because it is bad for you in the long run. Mentally, you feel drained when those things happen. You become more tired and you end up feeling even more depressed because nothing positive is going on. So, obviously, that's not an option. So, the better thing to do, in my case, after you're finished with work and you have a little bit of hobbies, I sometimes do blogging. Last few weeks have been extremely hectic because a lot of things are happening in life, which has prevented me from writing blog articles. I'll definitely get back to that as soon as possible. But other than that, just lay down, do nothing. That's the best way to heal because that's what I live for. Like we have a 9 to 5 job because in our free time, we can guilt free lay on the bed, do nothing. So that's the best way Formula One fans can spend their time in off season. Because we are average Joes, we don't have exciting jobs. We don't work in the circus. We're not lion tamers. We're not those type of people. So it's just chill out a little bit, lay down, learn how to cook a new dish maybe. Try not to be so much with your family because that definitely gets toxic. And yeah, just stay away from social media. You don't want to compare your average Tuesdays with highlights of other people's lives. That's the most horrible thing to do to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. So as a Formula One fan, the best strategy forward to keep myself calm in the off season and keep myself busy is to lay on the bed, keep telling myself positive affirmations that I'm doing the best I can, because I am. And after that, whatever happens happens. It's not under my control in life. So that's the second topic of discussion for today's live stream. I think nobody is watching this. Nobody's probably gonna watch this, but there's not much to do, and I'm tired of laying on the bed all the time. So I guess I had to come here, sit down, give a monologue which is boring, which is not that fast moving, which is practically about nothing. So that is that. So anyway, if you're a Formula One fan and you find yourself soulless in the off season, in the post season winter, the best thing you can do is do your job, pay your taxes, lay on the bed, do nothing, and then just wait for Barcelona testing. Is it gonna be in Barcelona or Bahrain? I think it's gonna be in Bahrain. Yeah. So I forgot for a second that Middle Eastern oil money now rule all sports. So it's not necessarily a bad thing as long as we get tracks like Bahrain, but it's really a bad thing as long as we get tracks like Qatar. And even Qatar is not a bad track, it's the FIA that's bad. So Middle Eastern oil money is actually not that bad for Formula One, it's the FIA that's bad. The only thing that Middle Eastern investors need to do is to change the board of directors in the FIA. We need people who care about the sport. That's the most important thing. If Middle Eastern money just keeps making the existing FIA personnel rich, then it's fucking useless. We need people who make the sport better. We need the DRS zone in Qatar to be longer. We want the pit lane to be shorter. We want all those things in Qatar. It's 26-second long average pit stop in Qatar. Track is beautiful though. Plenty of corners you can go side by side, but it's not designed that way. But anyway, so just lay on the bed, do nothing, do your job, do the things that you're supposed to do. Take care of your life, take care of yourself, take care of your family, all those stuff. Then lay on the bed, wait for the preseason testing for 2026, and then life will be nice again. Now, moving on to the third and final topic of the live stream, which is Helmut Marko. Helmut Marko's departure from Red Bull. Now, that's another landmark event. So, in the space of 6 months, Red Bull has kicked out two of the big people from the team. Number one, Christian Horner. Number two, Helmut Marko. What does this mean in terms of the impact on how Red Bull will go about racing in Formula One? Well, I will give you the summary right now very, very quickly. First, after Christian Horner's departure, the female staff at Milton Keynes will feel a bit safer. Then the car development will be focused on both drivers instead of one. And there will be a very limited amount of cocky bullshit media interviews, smug interviews from the team principal of the energy drink company car racing team, energy drink racing team. Now, after the departure of Helmut Marko, these are the following changes that will happen in the Milton Keynes outfit. The first thing is the drivers will be calmer, more happy, less stressed and anxious. That's one of the first things that's going to happen. Drivers will actually enjoy the process of driving Formula One cars, learning to drive Formula One cars, learning the tracks, the nuances of the car, the nuances of the tires, shit like that, which is absolutely important for Isaac Ajar, who is going to go to Red Bull next year, and he's not gonna have this fucking not even Darth Vader, fucking the Lord of the Sith, the Sith Lord. All of the Star Wars nerds, if they care to watch this live stream, will probably get pissed off because I was inaccurate, but he looks like the Sith Lord. Isaac Hajar will be actually counting his blessings. He will be happy that, oh my god, thank god this motherfucker is away. He's not going to, loom over my fears anymore. So that's great news for Isaac Hajar. In 2026, he's going to have Max Verstappen for his team, as his teammate, which is amazing because it gives you the best opportunity to learn. He's going to be under the team principal of Laurent Mekies, who is a technically driven guy, and Isaac has worked with Laurent for half a season. So that was beautiful. He is going into a familiar territory where someone knows Isaac, someone knows how strong the guy is for half a season. So then finally, he's also going to have a car which is not just designed towards Max Verstappen's driving styles, to cater to Max Verstappen's driving preferences. And his feedback will probably be given equivalent importance, because we can see that to some extent with Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki started his Red Bull journey tough, and it ended also very poorly, but there were at times in which he kind of looked strong. In Azerbaijan, Yuki Tsunoda looked decent. He was okay. In Abu Dhabi also he looked strong, but he kind of fucked up with the multiple times moving and running Lando off track. So he just didn't have the pace. It is what it is. Shit happens. But that was the case though for Yuki Tsunoda. Now Isaac Hajar is going in a positive environment. The test driver is going to be Yuki, some guy he knows. Then the main driver is going to be Max Verstappen, a guy he respects and wants to learn from. The team principal, Laurent Mekies, is a guy who knew him and used to work with him, so that's going to be familiar territory. And then finally, last but not the least, his feedback will be valued by the technical team, and he won't be driving a car which is designed around Max Verstappen's preferences. Other than that, I have nothing else to say. So those are the key three things I just want to have just let out. And also the most important thing is I have changed the name of the channel, did a little bit of rebranding. Someone a long time ago said that I need to change the name of my channel to F1 specific, which was a very valid point, Now, because I'm a lazy guy and I have a lot of things going on in life, and my life is in shambles, absolute fucking shambles, I'm just sitting here, and that's why I do this. I just sit here and talk shit about drivers who are insanely talented, superhumans, and then I talk shit about teams who are also composed of insanely talented, superhuman type of people, just to forget that things are not where I want them to be in my life. And because of that, the rebranding of my channel, the changing the name of my channel, took a while. And now it is done, so it's all good. And it's now F1 unofficial. The original, I know. That's the best I could come up with in my extremely tired mind. So, anyway, guys, that was the live stream. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.